Sorry for taking up 100% of the fucking screen. But good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Now, I said that I would talk about my inner demons today, or next video rather. Well, for some of you, you may already know what it is because you've been a subscriber for the whole of the 6 years I've been on here. But for those who are new here, or for those who don't know, I have had a problem with gambling. I have had a very significant problem with gambling. At first, it started off as innocent as me and my granddad, God rest his soul, would sometimes go to Yarmouth, Hemsby, or Hunstanton, and we'd just spend some money in the slots. However, the thing with that one is that when I was with my granddad, he always was a stickler for money. Very strict. Whenever I went up there, I would spend no more than 15, 20 pounds. And it wasn't like we were going every day. It was maybe at worst, it might be every 2 or 3 weeks. But usually it would be like once a month or something. So, in the grand scheme of things, that was nothing. I was generally very smart, I was generally very sensible, and that if there was any good win that I potentially had on the slot machines, I'd take it. Not a problem. However, the problems started when I dabbled even just a tiny little pinky into online gambling. And that is when everything started going tits up. So, what had happened that led me down this dark path, as it were, was I ended up in a situation where I literally was in a position where I could have just walked away from gambling a complete winner. To the tune of £18,500. I had actually done something extremely stupid, but paid off when I'd put in maybe 200, 300 quid into online gambling, started winning a metric shit ton of cash, and then made it go from basically 400 quid to 18,500. And unfortunately, I let greed and emotion and impulsiveness get the better of me. I lost that £18,500. And then I spent about 6,000 of my savings at that time trying to get it back, chasing losses, which is never a good idea. That caused me to lose, obviously, that. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to gamble anymore. Unfortunately for me, I believe it was 2022 or 2023, I ended up dabbling in it again. I tried to set limits and what have you, but unfortunately, even with all that, I ended up losing 300, 400, and bearing in mind I was down to about, I'd probably say, £4,000, something like that. So I was obviously not in a good position to do that shit anyway. But that was the first real point I decided to take action. And by that, I mean I installed on my computer and my phone a little app known as Gamban in the hopes that it would stop me. And it did. It did a perfect job of doing that. If I can't control myself, I need someone to control it for me. But unfortunately, in 2024, around late August, early September, I slipped. But not in the sense of, oh, I'm going to directly uninstall the app, because you couldn't actually do that with Gamban because it would just close on you and it wouldn't let you. But when my phone was becoming extremely unresponsive, I ended up doing a factory reset. And I must admit, on the side, there was a bit of curiosity of, is this going to get rid of Gamban? Is this going to put me at risk? And it fucking did. It did put me very significantly at risk. Now the problem started was I did set even stricter limits. I set it to around 10, 20 quid, maybe 30 at most on the two main websites I was using a day. But I should have really set it to a week or month, considering my financial circumstances. And that's my mistake, and I will own up to that. And I should have, when I actually realized it, got rid of that shit, I should have been like, no, you know what? No. I need to go and get Gamban back. But I didn't, because unfortunately, the addict in me didn't want to think of that. It wanted to think about, I want to get that money back, or I want a big hit, or I want to feel the dopamine rush of winning a massive prize. And unfortunately, in the space of the next 3 months, I have gambled nearly all my money away. I literally have, as of right now, less than £200 to my name. Less than 200. And the only reason I even had that much was because there was 200 quid or so that I had stored away in PayPal that I'd completely forgotten about. Otherwise, I would have been left with about 60 quid. It scares me to think that I have put myself in this position. It sickens me that I let it come to this, that I let this happen, and that I let greed take over. It disgusts me immeasurably. It's killing me inside. And I must admit, while I was putting on a brave show with all my videos I was putting out about politics, some of you older subscribers might remember this phrase that I occasionally used. The walls are fine, but the town is burning. Well, that's pretty much the situation I'm in right now. Physically, I'm fine. But mentally and financially, I'm dying, basically. And let me be absolutely clear with this. This video is not to beg for donations. It is not to ask for your money. That is because I will always do these videos regardless of money, as I've always said. I will stand by that principle 100%. What I am merely saying now, though, is that I am in an extremely tough financial situation because of my gambling. I am in an extremely rough spot, and it is something that is going to truly test my resolve over the next probably year or so maybe even longer. It is something that I care not to think about. I don't feel comfortable thinking about it. But the bottom line is, I've made my bed, and now I've got to lie in it. I have to sit there and think about what I've done. I have to think about the mistakes I've made. I have to think about what I should have done rather than piss the money up the wall. And I'm really going to have to dig deep for this one. Before, I could say, well, at least I've got money to my name. At least I've got a few thousand. I got 6,000. I got 9,000. Now, I barely have anything. And if that money goes, I do have enough, and I should hopefully, as long as I get paid by work, I should hopefully have enough to pay for the rent, pay for the council tax, basically pay for my upkeep here. But at this point on, it's going to be extremely difficult for me to do anything. Extremely difficult. So that's basically it, really. That's the update I wanted to provide as far as my inner demons are concerned, because it really is killing me inside. And it got so dark for me that I literally thought very briefly about ending it all. I really did, because I let myself get to that position in the first place. I've almost felt like I was going to go over the edge. And to be fair, in this current state of the country, I don't think anybody would completely blame me for deciding they've had enough. But this also serves as a stark reminder of when I said, I am a man with nothing to lose. That's exactly what I mean. The only thing I have right now are the four walls and the roof around my head. And whatever I've got stocked up in the pantry and what have you, and of course my PC and my phone. That's it. I don't have a luxury car. I don't have some items I can pawn off. I don't have some secret antique collection lying in the loft. This is all I've got left. And God help me if I make any more mistakes now. But like I said, and I cannot stress this enough, this video is not to ask for your donations or your hard-earned money. This is a video to showcase where I stand and to showcase that everyone has vulnerabilities, I guess. Even me. No one's infallible. I just hope to God that this isn't going to be the end. Because I think gambling has been single-handedly destroying my life. And I know now, from now on, if I ever get a new device, whether it's a phone, whether it's a computer, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a laptop, I know the first thing I'm going to do is going to be get that app installed. Because what Gamban does is whenever you try to access a gambling website, is it basically completely denies you access to it. Or if you're on your phone, it'll close it entirely. It'll completely shut down that site so that you can't access it. But from now on, new device, Gamban's going straight on. I refuse to let it destroy my life further. I refuse to let my life crumble to dust for the sakes of a dopamine high.